Recording in progress.
tells a story, a parable. And I think I mentioned this before. Parable, Greek, parabolos, is to put side by side. So rather than dealing with the particularly probably not very interesting issue, it's now think about this. A couple of things struck me when I thought about the story of the foolish rich farmer. First one is almost a throwaway line at the start. The land produced abundantly. Now, no doubt our wealthy landowner had worked in his own way. He project managed contractors, especially with the whole barn demolition rebuilding project. He probably sweated over whether the rains would come at the right time and all those sorts of things. But it was the land that produced. He was in the right place at the right time. Fundamentally, it was a gift from God, a gift of grace. And the other thing is actually the nature of the judgment on the rich farmer. He's told he's a fool, an idiot. You idiot, you can't take any of this stuff with you. Apparently the Spanish say that shrouds do not have pockets. We all know this. And yet, the American writer John Ortberg commented some time ago that a few decades ago there was no such thing as self-storage, at least not on the scale we have it today. Now apparently we have so many things we can't even store them in our homes, and we have to store them at expense somewhere else. But we know we can't take it with us, so why do we do it? I can't answer that definitively, but two things, and possibly relevant to the parable we have in front of us, Jesus' teaching, is first of all a sense of insecurity. Do we have enough? We don't know. So let's have some more. But again, the land produced abundantly. Everything is a gift from God. But perhaps more worryingly, and certainly something that Jesus is criticizing, is what our lives consist of. What gives our lives meaning? Now we've kind of moved out of, the monkey's pleasant Sunday with a TV set in every room. We've already got all that stuff, and we've already got freezers to go with our fridges. We're probably getting past some of the big things, but we can still spend the money on other lifestyle validating things like travel and other experiences. The things that make us feel good about ourselves and make ourselves feel good in relation to other people. Look, I'm not judging because I'm probably as guilty as everybody else. So with Jesus' parable and to the brother, here the disgruntled brother, where's the message? The message really seems to be, well, hang on, don't just think about the thing, the inheritance, think about where it came from, think about your relationship with your brother, think beyond. It's an invitation to imagine beyond the obvious and rethink this one. It's not that the things don't matter, but actually they're not everything. There's almost certainly a lot more to it, which is all terribly abstract. So let me share a story with you that a few years ago I had to go to Australia for work. I was in Melbourne for meetings, and the family, we took holiday before, and the family came out, and the plan was that I would then go from Sydney down to Melbourne, and they would go home from Sydney. And at the end of my meetings, which were quite difficult in various ways, I wanted to go home. I had quite a strong sense of I want to go home, and when I got on the plane, I'm going home. In between all this happening, a volcano went off in Iceland. So Rachel and the children were still in Sydney, where I had left them. And in fact, home was Pitt Street, and an apartment on that. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my home. We're all very pleased that we do live where we live and in the house in which we live, and we invest some time and effort in that. But what hit home really hard as I got on a domestic flight to go for a couple of hours to Sydney was that actually home was not a building. It was family, it was relationships, it was the place where I felt at home and at peace. So what should our disgruntled brother have done? Now, I asked an expert panel of 5 and 6-year-olds this question, again a few years ago. I'd helped with a children's service, and we'd done some play around this parable. If we had more children, if we had the right equipment or anybody else was up for it, we could have done it this morning. We built barns. We started out building barns out of kneelers, but they weren't anywhere near big enough, so then we had to get chairs and other bits of furniture and make bigger barns again. And everybody had a great time, including me. At the end of it, I took my life in my hands and I asked the children, well, where did it go wrong then? And almost without hesitation, they came straight back with, he should have shared. I think they were absolutely spot on, and they were spot on for 2 reasons. Because the first thing is, when we share something, we intrinsically recognise that it is ours to share, that there is that element of gift, of God's grace, about us having this thing to share. We automatically sit less tightly with it. And the other thing is that by definition we're sharing it with other people, meaning that the other people matter and not just the thing that we're sharing, whether it's hospitality or whether it's helping out somebody financially. It's they matter as much as the thing we share. So I offer that, I hope, as some kind of insight as to what Paul may have had in mind with his setting our hearts on the things above, setting our minds on the things above. I do not stand here to judge. I do not stand here to issue guidelines. I merely ask us to reconsider whether the best things in life are things. Amen.